In America, names like John and Mary are known as common names. What are the John and Mary names of other countries? Mario Rossi is the standard name in Italy. In Serbia, John is Nikola and Mary is Maria. Netherlands, Jan, Dan, Emma would be some. Amongst American-born Vietnamese, Kevin. Especially if their last name is also Nguyen. For some reason, Grace is a wildly popular name for Korean American girls. We had so many Grace Kims that we had to distinguish by middle initial, and sometimes they even had the same middle initial. There were a lot of Korean Americans where I grew up, and I only remember one Grace, but we had an entire line in the yearbook of Andrew Lees. Then there were a few Korean Andrews with other surnames. I always wondered why that name was so common. In Iceland, Jon and Gunnar. In Denmark we use a lot of variants of Johannes, Jens, Jan, Johan, Hans, John, and the feminine form Johan. Surnames like Hansen and Amp, Jensen are super common. On the top 20 AF most used boys' names, Jens, Jan and Hans are 2, 8 and 15. Maria, Marie, Rhea are common variants of Mary, but Maria is only number 9. Anne, Kirsten and Amp, Meta are the most common girls' names. Peter, Jens and Amp, Michael are the most common boys' names. In Brazil, Portuguese, is João and Maria. My Portuguese godmother is one of 14 children, mostly girls. Every single girl except her is named Maria. That means about 9 of those 14 children have the same first name. They all have to go by middle names, some of which repeat also. Their parents weren't very creative. Never met so many Charlottes until I went to the UK. Lottie if you're posh. I'm in Indonesia and for guys it is probably Rafi or Ahmad. For girls Aulia or Anissa, also for guys Muhammad is obviously a popular one but not as much as you would think. Lots of girls called Angel and Callista as well. South African here. I've met so many Sifas and Anders here. Both names can be for both genders. Edit. A few more South Africans have chimed in. I'm making a list now. Thabo, Thando, Thato, Ruan, Bianca, Jean, Jeanda, Carla, Michaela, Jake, Thandi, Mfo, Lasidi, Peter, Gert, Cobus. In France, Jean and Marie. In Mexico, Joan and Maria. UK Chloe, Charlotte, Ben and Harry. I'm a Chloe. Mohammed, every Muslim country. In Russia, Ivan and Masha. In Israel, Moshe and Sarah ? Carl and Maria. In Sweden. West Virginia, Billy for both sexes. In Finland it's Matti, man, and Maya, girl. And everybody knows at least one Alexei, Aino, Tommy or Yanni. In Egypt about 90% of the male population is called either Mohammed, Ahmed or Mahmoud. A lot more diversity when it comes to female names though. That's funny because I had professor who told me about how he had a friend in Egypt who was planning on naming his son Mohammed and joked that if you yelled Mohammed in the streets, half the people there would look to see if they recognized you. James Jamie is very common in Scotland. In Austria, Lucas and Lena. In Denmark it's Anne and Peter. For newborns it's William and Ida. Wales Gareth, Owen, Reese. Ali. In the Middle East. I went to school in an area with a lot of students from the Middle East. I had 4 Alis in a class of about 30 students. The professor literally referred to them as Ali 1, Ali 2, Ali 3 and Ali 4. I have a friend named Ali and all his 5 brothers are to Ali. They just have different middle names, some Turkish tradition I heard. In Tunisia, I'd say it's Ahmed and Mariam. I know at least 10 of each. Remember, like a few years ago, every other boy was named Jason, and the girls were all named Brittany? In Romania, Ian and Maria. In my university, I was in a group of 4. The other three guys' names were Mohammed, Mohammed, and Mohammed. You should have formed a band called Mohammed 4. In Catalonia, all dudes are named Jordi. In dog, boys, Spike, Buddy, Max girls, Bella, Luna, Daisy unisex, Oreo. Julian and Marie in the French-speaking part of Switzerland. Florida is kind of like another country. Gator for men, Gatorade for women. And when do they get arrested? At least once every 3 months. Puerto Rico here, Cabron is pretty standard. Popular middle name is usually Cono. Maria Cono, do the dishes. I posted this exact question a few years ago, and had it removed because it was something I could Google and therefore not appropriate for AskReddit. What I'm trying to say is, enjoy the sweet karma that was once denied to me, OP. Went to Poland and called everyone Jacob or Cuba. Worked every second time. Fascinating was, someone told me Cuba is a common nickname for the name Jacob. For Vietnamese girls, Han Nigun Sauce, my ex and 3 other girls she knows from her school. I just came to say I'm black, and grew up in the hood, and Tyrone is nowhere near as common as some seem to think. What names would you say are most common in your area? I taught middle school in the Bronx. Mitchell, Justin, and Daniel were common for boys. For girls, variations of Tiana and Alicia. Most of my students are 15-20 years old now. In Ghana, we name people in accordance to the day they were born. So we have a ton of Kwams, Kodjas and Kofis. Yes, my pen pal from Accra told me this when I was young. Then I met a Ghanaian in my country and I could tell him he was born on a Wednesday. He was very impressed, which made me feel even prouder. There are so many people named Tenzin. I dated a Tibetan girl ages ago and she told me about how it's been such a long time. I'm not 100% sure, but supposedly in the Tibetan community or somewhere adjacent, there's a notable figure in the community that gives children their names. I, for some reason, remember her saying it was the Dalai Lama, but that sounds too awesome, but it's totally possible. Can't find anything online about it. While we were dating, she introduced me to her Tibetan organization that was essentially about keeping migrant Tibetan folks together, and I swear, literally every girl was named Tenzin. Tenzins everywhere. As far as the eye can see, lol. I have never in my life met so many people with the same name, haha. I am Hungarian and we have common names for both 50+ people, 30+ people and younger. For 50+ ladies, Maria, Zuzana and Eva are pretty common names. For men it is Istvan, Joseph, Mihaly and Ferenc. Almost no young people eat these names. For 30+ women, Catalin and Mariana are common names. For men it is Gaba and Sanda. For women under 30, most common names are Jasmine, Anna and Baglaka. For men, Mart, Benson Balazes. Japan Taro and Hannah. I know a Korean guy who married a Japanese girl named Hannah and he would always joke about how she was the one for him. Hannah sounds like the number 1 in Korean. It got pretty old, but at least they are happy together. John is an extremely common name in all Christian countries, just with varying pronunciations. Juan, Jean, Johann Hans, Ivan, Ewan, Giovanni, Sean, Rashorn, and Zon. There are a bunch of female variations also, like Joan, Joanna, Ivana, Joanita, Ect. All derived from the Hebrew name Yohanan, which means God is good. Maria, Eleni in Greece. Let's not forget Yanni and George. My brother went on holiday in Greece 30 years ago. Every single man he met was named Gyagio, every single one, except for Nico Orphanakis, some mechanic who fixed his motorbike. He came home, adopted a kitten, and decided to call him Gyagio Orphanakis, in honor of Greece and the helpful mechanic. Indians follow a simple formula. It goes something like this. Start with the letter A, throw a K in there, preferably in the middle, have another vowel, most likely an A and end it in shore for females, an A, and for names that don't follow this formula, It usually just has a K or a couple of A's in there or both. Some examples: Akash, male; Anushka, female; Krishna, male; Arnav, male; Aditya, male; Aditi, female. Thanks for watching and please like and subscribe to support the channel.